Hello, everyone. We welcome you to this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin Milling, and today on our program, I am so pleased to tell you, we're going to be chatting with the president of the Black Clergy of Philadelphia and Vicinity. They have an upcoming Justice Symposium on Tuesday, October the 21st. He's going to give you all the details. And a little later on in the program, when we turn the page, we're going to shine the spotlight on a local magazine that's international, I want to say. It's called Fun Times. We'll talk to the man who publishes it. We'll also talk to one of the board members. So stay along with us for the ride. We'll be back with our first guest in a moment. I am beaming, yes I am, and I'm trying to shrink the beam down a little bit because I have somebody as a guest on my show who I've wanted to have for like 3 years now. I'm talking about none other than Reverend Pastor Terrence Griffith, D. Griffith, of the First African Baptist Church of Philadelphia, 16th and Christian, and also the man who leads the Black Clergy of Philadelphia and Vicinity. Thank you, Pastor, for coming. Thank you so much. Glad to have you here.
Appreciate it.
And you come at a very important time. As we look across our nation, we look at current events and history over this past summer, things that have happened in some other cities, but some of that which is happening here, the violence on our streets, sometimes the unwarranted strong-handing of African-American males in particular. And so just a lot of ups and downs with the justice system, if you will, and our community. So the Black Clergy of Philadelphia and Vicinity is doing this Justice Symposium. It's October 21st. Tell our viewing audience about it.
Well, we're absolutely concerned about the mistreatment of African Americans. In fact, we're concerned about justice for all. But again, when you look on the TV, every day you see played out, African Americans are being stopped, shot, tased for no reason whatsoever, beaten on the side of the road. African Americans who are in government are indiscriminately investigated. One former legislator said to me that $100 million was spent investigating him. Wow. And for what? You have schools that are being closed, right, and these type of stuff. And we believe that we need to give attention to the justice system, not only criminal justice, but justice in economics, and justice in public safety and prosecution, and justice in education. And so our symposium on the 21st of October at Mount Airy Church of God in Christ at 9 o'clock in the morning will seek to address the disparities that African Americans face.
So now when people come to this symposium, and it is free, by the way,
yes,
right?
Yes, absolutely. And we'll feed them too.
And you're going to get fed. You're going to get fed here, and you're going to get fed down here. This is a great thing. But so there will be choices of workshops that they can sit in during the symposium, or will everyone be in one large room for the majority of the activities that are going to unfold?
Initially we thought about having, different workshops, but, then we thought, what, we need to expose everybody to all this information. So, for example, for economics, we have Dr. Claude Anderson, who wrote the book Powernomics. He'll be the key speaker for the economic symposium, and then we have some panelists. Former Mayor John Street would address the issues of public safety and prosecution or criminal justice. We also have coming in from St. Louis, Missouri, State Senator Marie Chappelle Nadal, Fari State Senator. She said some things about the governor that we're not going to repeat.
Now, she's going to be the keynote speaker in the morning?
Yes, she'll be the main speaker.
Okay.
She'll be our main speaker. We'd actually invited Congressman John Lewis, but he's unable to make it. So on short notice, she decided to fill in, and we know that she'll do a tremendous job. So we have experts, and Dr. Larry Spruill, who's a professor at Morehouse College, would address the issues of disparity in education.
Sounds like it's going to be a full day and a very interesting day. The symposium is going to go from 9 in the morning until 5, and people can start checking in at 8:30 a.m.
Yeah, they can come early. Look, folks camp out in the night when, what's her name,
The new
Beyonce and these folks.
When the iPhone comes out, they can camp out
Yeah,
for
you
this.
got new iPhones, you know,
Yes.
Beyonce is coming into town, people pitch tents and stuff.
Yes,
So,
yes.
look, they can pitch
Pitch a tent
tents
for this.
outside Cary. I mean, we
I
want to
hear you.
see the entire city. We
Yes.
want to see all those who are concerned about justice in education, justice in criminal justice, and justice in economics to
Yes,
come.
yes.
Because the issue is, this city is predominantly African American. Yet when you look at the contracts in the city, I mean, the multi-million-dollar contracts in this city, African Americans do not get 10%
Right.
of the contracts in the city. And the question is why? You have a black mayor, you have a black district attorney, you have a black fire chief, you have a black police commissioner. Everything is black in the city. And yet there's no black empowerment. Something is absolutely wrong with that picture. And that's one reason too. Arlene Ackerman, people can say what they want about Arlene Ackerman, but Arlene Ackerman decided to take on the establishment and award a contract to a minority. And so she was drummed out of town because she had the gumption and the backbone to take on a system. And I think that's what we need. We need people who are in these powerful places to declare that fairness must happen.
Yeah.
I believe if the majority of folks are African Americans in the city, then the majority of a contract should go to African Americans. Yeah. And unless we empower economically, we can talk about education from now till the cows come home, and we can talk about public safety and prosecution from now till the cows come home.
Right.
It's not going to happen. My issue is you have Jewish individuals, you have Asian folks, you have the Dominicans, you have the Irish, the Italians. Now, the fact of the matter is African Americans have been here longer than most of them. And yet in terms of economic parity, we're still at the bottom of the ladder because we're consumers, not producers. We consume, we go to the cleaners, Asian folks own that. We go to the corner store, the Dominicans own that. We do a hair, the Asians own that. The nails, same thing. Maybe I need to open a nail shop.
Right. There are definitely disparities, and you're pointing out some of them even as we're having this conversation. I wish I had the latest statistics on the city of Philadelphia and minority contracts. Last week was Med Week. I participated in that with Councilman Curtis Jones and some of the other folks in the Commerce Department and what have you. I didn't go to all of their activities,
Yes.
but I went to a couple of them. And the events where I attended, they did not talk about the numbers, but that's always important to know. And it's almost shocking when you hear the numbers.
Below 10%,
When you-
that's what I
it's-
do
it's-
know.
Yeah.
And that's not fair in a city that's predominantly African American. And so we have to correct these things.
Right, exactly. We've got to do that. We're talking with Reverend Terrence Griffith. He is the pastor at the First African Baptist Church of Philadelphia in South Philly. He's also the president of the Black Clergy of Philadelphia and vicinity. And we want our whole city to know that you all are doing a symposium, a justice symposium, on Tuesday, October the 21st. Now, this is free. We've said that a couple of times
Yes.
already. I want people to know it doesn't cost anything to come except your time and your energy. But you would like people to pre-register.
Yes, if they can go on Black Clergy's website, www.phillyblackclergy.com, phillyblackclergy.com, and you can register. The Black Clergy's office information is on Black Clergy's website, and so they can pull that up and register.
Okay.
And we prefer if they register.
And that helps with the head count. So
Yeah,
you'll
then we know
many-
how to feed, because,
Yes.
or else we'd have to call up Jesus to do a miracle.
I hear you. Well, we know that this symposium is going to be a success. Black Clergy did a justice symposium. The title might not have been exactly the same. About 3 years ago it was at the seminary?
We did a mass incarceration summit. Michelle Alexander, who wrote the book, The
all
New
that,
Jim
all
Crow,
that, yes.
came in. She was a keynote speaker and disseminated some valuable information for our people. But Thea, it's time that we stop talking because we march, and I'm less interested in marching. There are times when marching, is necessary. We march, we shout, we protest, we just need to become empowered and take some serious action, galvanize the community. And the other thing is we have so many groups. We need to coalesce around single themes and ideas and really work for the benefit of the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the Black clergy has much work yet to do. We've got a November general election coming up.
Yes,
and
we
I know
do.
that the Black clergy always is a part of the voice in the community that says, get out and vote. Get out and vote and exercise your right. So here's your chance to do that right quick.
Well, yeah, folks need to vote. One thing I'm certain of, there will be a Tom as governor.
There will be a Tom, yes.
Somebody named Tom will be governor. I don't know which one.
The polls say that Tom Wolf is up by 26 points over our incumbent governor. I know I'm a believer that every vote counts, and until the last vote's been counted, the fat lady can't sing. And
Well,
anything can happen. Anything can happen.
I don't know
get
who's
cocky.
going to win, but whoever wins, has to be committed to the values and the issues that confront African Americans. Whoever wins, whether it's Tom Wolf or the incumbent governor. We've had people that we've supported in the mayor's office, in the governor's mansion, and we haven't gotten anything.
Right.
So it's getting to the point now where, it doesn't matter who is there because we're not getting anything. The question is, Reagan asked that question, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And I think that's a question African Americans need to ask. Are we better off, regardless of who is in the seat? Are we better off now than we were 4 years ago? We have a black mayor. Are we better off now than we were 4 years ago? Right. And that's the question we need to ask. And if we're not better off, we have to do something about it. And I think if we start voting, but not only voting, because you can vote, and still your voice won't be heard. We have to do more. Activism, getting together, coalescing around, again, ideas and themes, and putting pressure on these folks. And then we need to be empowered again economically, because we beg people for things, That's one of the things with Black clergy that we determine. We do not want money from politicians. And we have not taken a dime, not one penny from politicians for their support, because it shouldn't be a quid pro quo situation where you're giving me something for my support. We threw that out of the window.
We're about out of time, but I did want to acknowledge the fact that you have had 3 installations as the president of the Black clergy of Philadelphia and vicinity. I think that's a consensus for your leadership and the work you've been able to accomplish in the time since you've been the president.
And after this, somebody else will take over.
Absolutely. And before we go, one more thing. The Black clergy of Philadelphia and vicinity has its own newspaper now, and we're very proud of it. And this paper came about because of the support and the vision of Reverend Terrence Griffith. So we thank you for that and the opportunity to be a part of it. That wraps it up for this part of the show. We're going to come back in a moment and shine the spotlight on fun times. Rev, thank you for being here.
Thanks,
Appreciate it, sir.
Appreciate
Take care. All right.
In LaSalle University's Communication Department, students learn to think and do.
Every semester, communication students create and implement public relations plans for local nonprofit organizations.
And journalism students produce Germantown Beat, an online news source for the local community.
It's great that we can apply what we learn in the classroom in our community.
Philadelphia is the nation's 4th largest media market and has 4 major sports teams.
Being in a major media market allows us to gain great professional experience through internships and co-ops.
The Communication Center is home to the university's cable station.
LaSalle TV reaches over 350,000 homes in Philadelphia and airs mostly student-produced programming.
Our communication department is ranked in the top 10 in North America for relational communication research.
But keeping with the tradition of the De La Salle Christian Brothers, teaching students comes first.
Think, do, with LaSalle Communication. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter.
There's something for everyone at LaSalle TV. I watch LaSalle TV.
I watch LaSalle TV. The baseball team watches LaSalle TV.
I watch LaSalle TV.
I watch LaSalle TV.
Miro Televisión de LaSalle.
Vedo io la televisione LaSalle.
Я дивлюсь ласальську телевізію і дуже вона мене цікавить.
我睇電視. And you can too. Follow us, like us, and watch us on LaSalle TV.
All right, now we're back as we continue with this edition of News You Can Use. If you just turned your sets on, well, you missed Reverend Griffith from the Black Clergy of Philadelphia and vicinity, but check him out again. You'll see him at another time. And right now we've turned the page and we're shining the spotlight on a wonderful magazine called Fun Times Magazine. And the owner/publisher is sitting right by my side, Mr. Eric N. I'm going to let him say his own last name so I don't tear it up out of respect to your name. And then we also have Brother Numa Louis with us, and he is a board member for Fun Time Magazine. And you all do great stories, great work. You have some awesome writers and good people that you've put together, a great team to make that magazine a reality. It's bright, it's colorful, it's professional, and I'm excited about it.
Thank you very much.
So how old is the magazine?
The magazine is 22 years old.
23?
22.
22 years old. I didn't realize it had been around that long.
It started in Monrovia, Liberia, but in America we're barely 4 years in America. Yes.
That's excellent. That's excellent. What inspired you to birth this magazine?
Well, it started in 1992 in Monrovia, Liberia, when we had the civil crisis in Liberia. So we had enough of bad news, you know, a lot of war, violence, death. So I thought there would be light at the end of the tube. So we decided to have something to cheer people up. That was how Fun Times Magazine started.
That's where the name comes from. Now I got the story. Because I was saying to you before we started taping how much I love your magazine. I think it's beautiful, great photography, and even better stories and articles. I told you I wasn't crazy about the name. I'm just being honest, right?
That's
right.
But
now I understand the history behind the name, because your homeland was going through such challenging times and so many sad stories, and just everything was like, So Fun Times brought a whole nother spirit, a new light to people who were your readers.
Exactly, and we promised any person that if you read the magazine and you didn't laugh, we refund your money.
Okay.
So it was the light at the end of the tunnel.
Light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
All right, all right. So now you're in Philadelphia, and you're doing your thing in Philadelphia. How often does the magazine come out?
Bi-monthly.
Bi-monthly, okay. So if a budding writer wanted to submit an article for your consideration, not saying it would get published, but for your consideration, how does one do that?
Just go to the website, info@funtimesmagazine.com.
Say that again?
Info.
Info, okay.
info@funtimesmagazine.com, and we take it up from there.
Okay, okay. Now, being a board member for this magazine, how have you found that? I mean, is the board a solid board, or do they have the same vision and fire and spirit that Eric does?
I think we do. I think a lot of us on the board share Eric's vision. It really takes a vision to really establish a magazine that essentially is being imported from West Africa to America, and Philadelphia particularly. And when you look at the growing Afro-Caribbean community, it's really serving a need in terms of providing news, culture, information. It's a true outlet for the community.
Now, how long have you been a board member?
I'm fairly new. I've been a board member for what, Eric?
Yeah.
A year?
About a year.
About a year. I'm really enjoying it. There's people that are really committed.
And the board sort of helps keep Eric grounded.
That's exactly right. He has a lot of great ideas, so sometimes you got to bring him back to earth. But it's a great asset to the community.
Now, is it distributed across the country? Is it distributed locally?
It's distributed largely locally, and any person that wants a copy could subscribe, and we mail it all over the nation.
That's fantastic. That is good. That is very good. Now, coming up on October the 18th,
yes,
you're doing something special. So tell us about that.
Our Fun Times annual gala.
Oh, okay.
Yes, every year we used to have, or we have always had, still standing, celebrating African and Caribbean married couples. So after last year, our board chair is Dr. Ezife. He said, let's do a fundraiser and do a gala, something a little bigger that will be all inclusive. So that was how this was born. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be at the Bala Golf Club.
Very nice, very elegant, very elegant. I've been there for several events that Senator Vincent Hughes hosted in past years. Yeah, it's very nice there. Yeah, so it's going to be on the 18th. What time of day, and how can people engage and get involved with this? How can they get tickets and support your efforts?
Yeah, you can get it online. We have it at funtimesgala.eventbrite. You can go there and register.
And what about
it's going to be 7 o'clock.
Have the internet?
They can call our office. Our office
give your number.
It's 215-954-6300. 215-954-6300. You can just call our office and we'll take your information and make sure that your name is on the table.
Okay. And so this is the Fun Times Gala.
Yes.
And it is a fundraiser.
Correct.
And you're raising funds to support the magazine or to do some other things to support community or what?
Basically, we want to start building some alternative. Our community, we rely so much on healthcare as a career. Now we want people to be involved in things like mass communication, internship. What does it take to put the magazine together? So we want to encourage that, be able to get materials.
So you're going to fund that program to do the teaching and the educational opportunities?
Correct.
Well, that sounds very good. That sounds very good. Sounds like it's something that's very doable and can happen. Again, you talked about the fact that the magazine comes out bi-monthly.
Yes.
So as we're taping this show, we're in the beginning of the month of October. When will Fun Times come out again?
We'll have one before the event. Usually, if you come to the event, you're going to get a copy.
One. So it'll be hot off the presses then for anybody who comes on October the 18th.
Yes, we want to avoid printing the magazine and then printing our brochure. We usually print a brochure for our events, so we wanted to combine both.
Okay, that should be great. So again, the event is October the 18th. It's at the Bala Golf Club, Country Club, and it starts at 7 p.m.
Yes.
And if people want to purchase tickets, they can call
215-954-6300. A ticket is $50.
So do you know what your front page story is for the edition that's coming out just around the 18th of October? I mean, have you gotten all your stories are put to bed now? Or
of course, this event is so unique, it's so special. We are highlighting or we are acknowledging a couple of people, businesses in the community. For instance, Jeff Brown, we are giving
ShopRite Jeff Brown.
Yes, we're giving him an award for community engagement. He's very much in the very diverse, both in his leadership team and what they are doing in the community.
I love him because he gives people second chances who've made a mistake and had to go away for a while.
That's exactly right.
I talk about Jeff Brown all the time when I go to prison and teach my life skills class to my ladies.
Beautiful. And then we have a couple of businesses in the community, like the Jamaican Jack Hut.
Yes, sure.
Yes, and then we have Salad Works by Ricardo at 8500 Henry Avenue.
Yes, heard about him.
And then finally, we think Welcoming Center is doing a great job empowering businesses and entrepreneurs from our community. So these are the 4 businesses that we are recognizing on that day. And our special guest is Ambassador Dr. Neil Parson. He's the ambassador of Trinidad and Tobago.
Wow.
He will be the one that will make the presentation.
Going to be impressive indeed. So we're
Yes.
hoping a lot of people will come out and enjoy your gala, the Fun Times Gala, on October the 18th. We thank you for sharing that story, and we got to go, but we appreciate you for being with us on the show today. Okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you
All
very
right.
much,
All
and
right.
to all
Thank
the
you,
board
thank you.
members.
We are going to move forward as we go now to take a quick visit with Dr. Donnie Patterson, and she's got company with her. Health tips right now.
Hi, I'm Dr. Donnie, and I want to remind everyone about the influenza vaccine. We've talked about this a little bit before, but didn't get into depth. We want to remind people that 36,000 people a year die of influenza. And a lot of my patients tell me, well, I don't want to get the flu shot because it might cause the flu, but that's not the case. Sometimes people can still get a little bit of a common cold in that winter season. So I have here with me my colleague, Dr. Wheeler, and he's going to explain the difference between the common cold and influenza. Dr. Wheeler?
So both the flu and the common cold are caused by viruses, but these viruses are very, very different, and they're very, very different in how they affect your body. So the common cold causes mostly upper respiratory tract symptoms. So those are things like cough, congestion, sneezy, itchy eyes, sore throat, things like that, what we associate with the common cold. Influenza is very, very different. It tends to cause high fevers, chills, muscle aches, really having difficulty breathing and getting short of breath, and feeling run down and fatigued. It's important to know the difference because you may think that the stuffy head and congestion you get after a flu shot is because of the flu, and it's not. It's just the common cold. And so it's important to remember that the flu is the flu and colds are colds, and they're different.
We highly recommend that children and adults older than 65 get the influenza shot, but everyone should actually get it because you're going to be exposed whether you're at the grocery store or just your neighbors, so it's very important. And I want to remind Ms. Thera, she needs to get her flu shot as well. But as always, I'm Dr. Donnie. I wish you the best of health, but if you can't be the best, you can be better.
Thank you, Dr. Donnie, for that tip. And maybe, I'm going to pray on it. Maybe I'll take you up on that influenza shot this year because last year I was sick as all get out. So Dr. Donnie was right. But I'm going to pray on it because I'm just a woman who's afraid of needles. We'll see, we'll see. And that does wrap it up for this edition of News You Can Use. We just want to encourage folks again to come out and support what the Black Clergy of Philadelphia is doing on October the 21st, the Justice Symposium. And then certainly we want you to support Fun Times Gala. Their event is on October the 18th. And then we also want you to come out and support a citywide revival that's happening October the 27th through the 31st. You'll hear more about that on my next show. Keep your dial where it is, channel 56 on LaSalle TV, and on Verizon Fios, it's channel 36. Have a great day, everyone. Remember, life is fragile. Handle it with prayer.